Hey everyone, it's Neil Milton here. I'm the General Manager of Child Safe Australia, and it is absolutely wonderful to see you again. We run these Facebook Lives once a month, and we get a large attendance of people coming on because they want to learn about how to be wonderful parents and how to help their children be the kind of kids and keep them safe in the process. What I want you to do is I want you to just comment right now what state you're from and also maybe how many children you have. And I'm sure we'll have many more people join us as we go. So if you could just comment your state and how many kids you have, that would be absolutely fantastic. As I said, I'm Neil. I'm the General Manager from Child Safe, and we are a not-for-profit harm prevention charity of over 12 years. We work with organisations to prevent harm and abuse of children, and we help parents to navigate this incredible space around keeping their children safe. And so I'm really excited to be with you once again for a fantastic Facebook Live with another expert, another person who's passionate about this area as well. So one thing that we wanted to let you know is that we have a Facebook page called Child Safe Australia -for Parents, and it's absolutely fantastic, and we'd love you to join it. So you can head to childsafe.org.au/live. And while you're there, we'd love you to have to make a donation of $10 towards a Child Safe, so that we can keep doing these lives and keep putting this on for parents, for the many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of parents we've already helped, and the many children that are in safe environments because of our organisation. We want to keep doing that, and we want to offer you that opportunity to be part of that. So feel free to donate $10. And then it'll go towards continually creating safer environments for children and helping us to be able to do this. So today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Janine Sanders, and she's an author and an educator and a wonderful human being, and we're so excited to have her. Let's bring her on now. Welcome, Janine.
Hi there, Neil. Thank you so much for having me. That was very nice things you said about me.
That's all right. I 100% believe all of those things. Look, it's really great to have you. I know we're in really strange times, but in these types of times, it's a great opportunity to meet with some incredible people that are doing amazing stuff. Just before we kind of kick into a few things, just tell us what part of the state you're in and how did you get involved in the work that you're doing?
Well, I live in Victoria. I live up in the Dandenongs outside of Melbourne, which is really lovely, gorgeous. I've always worked from home. I was a teacher. I got into publishing as well. So I was actually a publisher for Macmillan for a little while.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of like, I know how to make books, which is great. I write children's readers under another name, J. Dale, my maiden name. Yeah. But why I got into the area of body safety is that, there's two reasons really, but my neighbour, who's now in her 80s, who I absolutely love, she was sexually abused as a child when she was about 12. And then she married an abuser, and he abused her son and her daughter for as long as she can remember. They can remember. So she always said to me, we have to stop these perpetrators before the child is in the web, because once they're in the web, it's very difficult. So I thought about that, and I really took that on board. So my children were on school council. I was on school council, the school council, and I went to a meeting and I said, let's do at that time I was calling it sexual abuse prevention education. I've since kind of changed the term to body safety because I think that's much more approachable and it's more what it is.
Yeah.
So I took that to school council and I said, can we do some work on this with kids? I think prevention would be fantastic. And sadly, I was always put to the bottom of the agenda.
Of course.
Yeah. So what I did was I came home one night and I said to my husband, if I write a book, maybe people will take more notice of me. I said, I reckon I can write a book to help kids and talk about this topic without scaring them. And he's like, no, you can't. But, given a challenge. So I did. And that was the first book, which was Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept. And so then it kind of morphed from there. Because as an educator, I knew that I needed teaching notes to go with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just read the book. I'd want to do lesson plans and things. So then it kind of morphed from there, and I did more work in that area, and I did more courses, and I just became really passionate about the prevention side of things, because to me, it was obvious that if we start with this kind of information from a very young age appropriate, of course, which we'll talk about with the parents, educators here, it can change the course of a child's life. So it's just become a real passion for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, I'm a big fan. I've got some of your books, and I have actually run them through with my daughter, and she really loves them, and she can sort of quote some of the things in there, and it's quite amazing. Now, what I'm really excited about is you're actually going to gift a lucky person on here. You've got a whole pack, a consent pack, and a body safety pack all rolled in one. And what they need to do, that's right, you've got it in your hand.
7 books.
There's heaps of books, that's right. And so that's going to go to a lucky viewer today. And the way in which you can win that is if you share this particular live post right now and tag your friends that aren't here, you'll go in the draw to win that, and I'll send it, and we'll be picking a person and later this evening, and we'll get in contact via messenger to you or even on the comments, and you can win that. So make sure you share, and you tag someone, and you can go in the draw and win those 7 books. Is that what you said?
7 books.
7 books. Amazing.
Oh, well, it'll be 7. If it's 6, I'll put another one in.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm pretty sure it's 7.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's get into this. I want to, I guess, start this with setting the scene a little bit. And the way in which I want to set the scene is to share that I am actually a survivor of child sexual abuse. My abuse happened by another child on me. And I was sharing this with Janine earlier, and our team behind the scenes here. And I said that I fully believe that if I learnt what we're about to learn now from what Janine's going to be telling us, I believe that I would have known that what this person was doing was abuse, and maybe that could have been stopped. So I'm invested, and I hope everyone else watching is invested right now. This is super important. So the first thing we're going to discuss, Janine, is this particular bookmark here, which is part of the pack. Maybe you can put that in the pack as well.
Yep.
But you've developed these 5 body safety rules that parents can talk to their children about, right? What are they, and why are they so important?
Okay, well, we do have them on a poster as well for free. That's a free download from my website. Oops, that way. So, okay. First of all, I do want to thank the parents and educators coming on here and listening to this. I think our role as parents and teachers is to educate ourselves about sexual abuse. What are the warning signs? What are the grooming techniques? And then our role is then to provide prevention education for our kids. Yeah. So I do want to thank everybody for coming along and really thinking about this and thinking, I need to do this, because believe me, your child is not going to lose their innocence at all. Yeah. What they're going to learn is age-appropriate body safety education. As I said to you earlier, yesterday actually, when we teach road safety, when we teach water safety, we do not show kids graphic images. We do not tell them graphic content. It is exactly the same with body safety. We just tell them, you know, your body is your body, and we want to empower them with knowledge and not scare them. So this is going to make for pretty assertive kids, which is really good. Assertive kids, kids who know their rights, kids who know about consent. So it's great. So that being said, the first rule is that, I'll read it. It says, my body is my body and it belongs to me. I can say no if I don't want to kiss or hug someone. I can give them a high five, shake their hand, or blow them a kiss. I'm the boss of my body and what I say goes. Yep. So this is consent. This is consent from a very young age, and this is the first part. So when your child is young and, you know, just a little baby or whatever, we can talk to them and say, okay, you know, I'm going to take you here now, and I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to change your nappy. I don't want to go into nappies. That's a little bit controversial. But, yes, I know. But we can talk to them about their body and about their body space. And then as they get older, we can tell them that they have a body boundary. Sometimes we refer to it as a body bubble, and you can actually outline it with a child. And you say, that's your personal space. And no one has a right to come into it unless you want them to. And they need to ask your consent. Yeah. And parents often say, but hang on a minute, I want to give my kid a hug all the time. Well, what I say to that is, yes, mostly, you know, parents have a pass. But if you go in for that hug and your 2 or 3-year-old goes, no, I don't want a hug, or they're feeling uncomfortable, then don't feel like, oh, I'm a really bad parent, they don't love me. They're just wanting some space, like we all do. We all need that space from time to time. Yeah. So that's the first thing. So one of the books in the pack is called No Means No, and it's about, there's a bit of a story behind it. There was a little girl at school that I was teaching, and she was one of those little girls who was about 5 or 6, and all the boys wanted to come around her all the time, and they were touching her and touching her hair and wanting to hold her and wanting to hug her. And I said to her, you know, do you like what's going on here? And she went, no, I don't. And I said, well, you can say no. And she said, well, I can't say no. I said, yeah, you can. You can say no. Absolutely. And you know what? It was so hard for her to voice that. She actually couldn't do it. Yeah. So that's why starting young, we teach our kids that they have rights. There's they have a body boundary, and people need to ask consent before they enter it. Yes. Absolutely. So, have you got any questions about that one?
No, I think that's really good, because the thing is that you know, often, and this is like, let's be upfront here, over 85% of abuse happens by someone that the perpetrator, the victim knows. Yeah. And mum and dad, grandma, grandpa, family, friend, they're all on the top echelon there. And I guess the thing is that you know, I remember as a kid, you know, grandma or grandpa would just be the first thing, would just grab me and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was like, no, mustache. No, I'm just joking. But it was just this, you know, just
invasion.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. But I think that if we teach them that actually, no, they don't have to hug their grandma and grandpa or their mum and dad all the time. And if we actually ask the question, like, you know, would you like a hug? Yeah, then a little bit different than just going in for the kill, if you like.
And also, I mean, kids can relate back, because, you know, sometimes they just want to, you know, have a shake the hand or a high five. But if you have a child who understands consent from a young age, then they'll understand it when they're a teenager and an adult. Yeah. And this is very important with our teenagers really right now, is understanding that consent from this way, like, you know, no, I don't want a hug, but also consent from the other way, asking, oh, can I have a hug, rather than just taking. So an empowered child who knows about their body boundaries and what consent is will be an empowered teenager and an adult. So there is no downside, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's number 2?
Number 2, safety network. So there are 3 to 5 adults I trust. I can tell these people anything and they would believe me. If I feel worried, scared, or unsure, I can tell someone on my safety network how I am feeling and why I feel that way. So it's very important that children have 3 to 5 adults that they can tell anything to and they're believed. Because we know 1 in 3 children who disclose sexual abuse, sorry, not 1 in 3, 1 in 3 adults will not believe a child when they disclose abuse.
That's right. Yeah, it's disgusting.
A child has to go to 3 people before someone believes them. Well, I'm hoping that's changing now. I really am. But you need to develop a safety network. And why I keep putting my hand out is because we use a hand.
Yeah.
So we can outline a hand and we can write the people's names on here for the child, or draw a little picture up here. And it's very important to talk to and it's very important to let the child choose the people on their safety network. And as an educator, teachers might be well surprised who children say. It may not be mum or dad. It may not be them at all. So it could be, but it has to be the child's choice. Now, when I was a child, I was never sexually abused, but I had a mother who was mentally ill at times. And I really honestly can say I don't know who I would have put on my safety hand, to be honest.
Wow.
So that's why we also have the Kids Helpline, which is excellent as well.
Yeah.
And our teachers. Teachers are so important, and hopefully all the parents, mums and dads and grandparents, they would be the ones on the safety network. But it is the child's choice. Yeah. And when they make that choice and they choose those people, it's really important to tell those people and say what an honor it is that you have been chosen as, Jenny's safety person, and what that means. And that means that if they are scared, or if they are worried, or if they are touched in an unsafe way, that they'll come to you and that you will believe them. Because one of the most important things when a child discloses is being believed. Because as we know from the Royal Commission, if they're dismissed, they may never tell again. And it is just devastating. And
it might take 25 years for them to disclose in the end, as an adult.
Exactly. So the safety network is really important, and something you can do with your kids kind of straight away for all sorts of reasons. It doesn't have to be, totally about safe and unsafe touch, but it can be just about needing someone to talk to when they're feeling anxious or scared. And children are feeling pretty much like that at the moment as well. They're very unsure. So safety network.
That's cool. Yeah, excellent.
All right. Now, early warning signs.
Yeah. This is number 3.
Number 3. So if I feel frightened or unsafe, I may sweat a lot, get a sick tummy, become shaky, and my heart might beat really fast. These feelings are called my early warning signs.
Yeah.
If I feel this way about anything, I must tell an adult on my safety network straight away. Okay, so we all have those early warning signs. If you're standing, like I was the other day down at Phillip Island, near the edge of a cliff, I felt a little shaky and a little sick and like, I need to step back. I had my early warning signs. Well, children get them too. And they need to understand that when that happens and they get those early warning signs, something's not right, and that they have to act on that feeling of something's not right. And they need to tell that one of their trusted adults straight away. So that is an important point.
Yeah, I was going to pick up on that because I think it's a really important thing. We teach when we're teaching about the different signs of abuse. Sometimes we do share in our training, in our child safe training, we actually talk about this particular warning sign of that sick in the stomach or, feeling uneasy or whatever it is. Because the thing is and I have heard that the number one place that most people, when they feel anxious or they feel upset or whatever, they actually feel it in their stomach. They say that the stomach is like the second brain, and
indeed.
And especially for children, and not just talking that 3 to 5 year old or like that. I'm talking about older as well. And I think that's the thing, is that there's such an important thing, especially for adults to take notice. Like one thing that I'm realizing is that, and this breaks my heart to share, but not every child in this COVID-19 isolation time has been in a safe environment. In fact, they've been in an abusive environment. They've been in a really hurtful environment. And therefore, they're coming out of that now and going to school, and there could have been extreme abuse that has happened, whether it be sexual, emotional, physical, in whatever. And teachers and other educators and other staff and other parents need to take note of anything that might be occurring. And so that's a really good point, because those kids may actually be struggling from an anxiety perspective, and they might feel it in their stomach. Yeah, let's continue.
And there would be some red flags. I've got this book, which will be in the pack too, which is the Body Safety Education. So that's a parent's guide to protecting kids from sexual abuse. And there's lots of points in there about red flags about a child, like, oh, I feel sick, I don't want to go to Uncle Jim's house, and you go, oh, Uncle Jim is always so nice, he's so friendly. No, I don't want to go to his house. Like, you've got to pick up on these things. You can't just dismiss that sort of thing. And if the child is frightened to tell, if they haven't had their body safety rules, they don't understand their body safety rules, then they're living with this themselves right now, and they're going through this anxiety, they're going through their early warning signs, and they don't understand it. So we have to be really vigilant to make sure that we look out for, with the adults around us, the grooming techniques and also the warning signs that a child may be being abused. And like you said, a lot of kids who were home during this time, like, breaks my heart as well, because it's dangerous. Sometimes it's dangerous for them, to be honest. And school is a safe place. And it's also a place where they can tell that if that teacher is a trusted person in their life, what's going on for them. So, yeah. Now more than ever, I think we need to be going through these body safety rules with our kids, and just having our eyes wide open as the adults in their lives.
Agree. And before we get into number 4, we are getting some questions and things coming through.
Okay.
But it's okay. I just want to remind people that straight after this session, we're having a Q&A with Janine, and Janine is really really poised, ready to answer your questions. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen after. So just bear with us, and you might have it answered through. But keep sending them through. It's fantastic. Let's keep doing that. Number 4, Janine.
Okay, private parts. So I'll read it. My private parts are the parts of my body under my bathing suit. My mouth is a private part too. I always call my private parts by their correct names. No one can touch my private parts, ask me to touch their private parts, or show me pictures of private parts. If any of these things happen, I must tell a trusted adult on my safety network straight away. So, which will come to one of the questions you do have for me later, but I will go into this. We'd need to call the private parts by their correct names. Children need to understand these are their private parts. They are under their bathing suit, and that no one has the right to touch them. Now, parents often say, but, they need to go to the doctor. They need, they might have a urinary tract infection. I understand that, but they need a trusted adult with them when they go to the doctor, and the doctor needs to ask their consent. May I touch your vagina and have a look and see what's going on there? And the child has to have that trusted adult with them at all times. Now, why we call the private parts by the correct name is because if a child came up to a teacher and says, oh, my uncle touched my cookie, the teacher wouldn't think anything of it, like nothing. But if the kid came up to the teacher and said, I feel really, I've got my early warning signs because my uncle touched my vagina, then everybody's going to go, whoa, okay. Yeah. So, and everyone should be comfortable with these words. They're just words for children. Like, really, they're elbows, nose, hand, penis, bottom. Kids don't care. If it's actually adults who make it all, kids don't. So if you start using silly names, fun names at the beginning, it makes it like it's a part of your body that to be ashamed of, and we don't want that. We don't want kids to feel ashamed of their bodies, because later on in life they're going to, have sexual contact that they enjoy. So we want kids to be really comfortable with their bodies and the terms. So parents, you need to get comfortable with the terms too and call it what it is. Because the other reason too is that if a perpetrator does touch a child and the child says, "Stop, you can't touch my penis," then the perpetrator goes, "Whoa, this kid is educated to tell. This kid's off limits. This kid knows what's going on," okay? And another reason is that the police tell me this, if it goes to court, then if the correct terms are not used in court, then it's invalid. It's not going to happen. So these are why we need to teach our kids about their private parts, that they are private, they belong to them. No one has a right to touch them or show them pictures of private parts. And if they do, the go-to is always tell someone on your trusted network straight away. And if they're not there, tell another one. And if they're not there, tell another one until someone listens to you.
Yeah, and I think also on that, before you get to point number 5, children are increasingly going to pornography to find out how to, how their body parts are used and what they should use for, and these things like that. And in pornography, nothing's private, is it? And so. So if we can educate them before that, then therefore maybe they won't look to those things that are unhelpful and disrespectful to our bodies and also those people that we might want to interact with.
And a person who's very good in that space, sorry, Neil, is Polly-Ann Martin. She has some books for kids about pornography and seeing inappropriate pictures, and she runs Safe for Kids, so that so she is, right on top of this, and it is happening a lot. Holly-Ann works in the Northern Territory a lot in Western Australia, and she is seeing a lot of kids using pornography, looking at pornography, and I'm sure it's Australia-wide. So, as soon as they see pictures of private parts and things that make them feel, those early warning signs will come on, they won't feel safe, tell that adult straight away. It's the go-to.
Absolutely. What's number 5, Jenny?
Okay, the number 5 is secrets. Okay, so this is the currency of a sexual abuser, is the secret. So, they will even go and test kids out. Like they might give them some sweets or something and say, "Oh, don't tell anyone. This is our little secret," and the kid goes, "Okay." And they go, "Right, this kid knows about to keep secrets." But if it if they come up to a kid and they go, "Oh, I'm going to give you some lollies, it's our little secret," kid goes, "I don't keep secrets. We only have happy surprises in our family because happy surprises are going to be told. Secrets indicate it's something that we're going to keep and is never going to be disclosed."
That's right. Yeah.
This is what they use all the time to keep kids quiet. It's our little secret. It's, this is what you do with You Love Me, but you can't tell anyone because this is what we're sharing. You understand what a perpetrator will go to keep that secret, because if that secret is disclosed by the child who's educated, they're over, right? They're out there. Everyone knows. So the secret is very important. So I'll read what I put there.
Sure.
"I should never keep secrets that make me feel bad or uncomfortable. If someone asks me to keep a secret that makes me feel bad or unsafe, I must tell an adult on my safety network straight away." And also from that, because I've only got a little space on my bookmark, on that, in my other books, we talk about secrets and happy surprises. So that in our family, we don't have secrets, we have happy surprises, like telling grandma that she's going to have a birthday party would be a happy surprise. So,
And look, I think what's really important on that last one is actually that people who want to groom your child will use secrets as a way of manipulation in order to keep grooming them long time. We've had interactions with people being sexually abused for 13 years, and one of the ways in which they did that was that if you tell your mum, then I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to tell them what you did, and then you're going to get in trouble, and all those different things. And And if we keep this secret together and we keep it together, then therefore no one's going to get hurt, are they? Okay. And so it's very manipulative. It's very, very wrong. And that's why it's super important for us as parents to ask deeper questions to our children about their days at school and their times at friends' houses and things like that, rather than just expecting that it's actually all going to be safe. And let's put it in perspective. Sporting clubs, churches, wherever, there's an expectation that those places are going to be safe, but we also know that through the Royal Commission that they weren't always that safe. So as parents, we need to be asking the right questions in order to get the right answers.
That's right, Neil. And look, body safety education, like, it's not a guarantee that your child's going to be safe, but my God, it's a lot more, it's heaps better than not having anything at all. And so I think, it's not totally a child's responsibility to be keep themselves safe, but by us providing the education, we are there helping them to give them some kinds of skills if this situation arises. Another really good point too is when your kids do start to do sleepovers and things like that, obviously you have to vet the people, but you can never tell. Yeah. A family safety word is a really good idea. Like, I think we had carrots. So if they rang up and they just said carrots,
we're having carrots tonight or something.
Way that they were feeling unsafe. Yeah. So that's a good little idea as well. Mm.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's really, really great. Now, Matt Baker asked on Facebook if the books that you've got at E2E Publishing, are they for primary or secondary aged kids or?
Primary. So I have a number of things. I have the books. I have a teacher's resource kit because, another thing that I thought of was like, how can I get teachers to do this? Like, how am I going to get them to do this? So I made this teacher's resource kit, and it's got lesson plans and everything. So that's there, and there's a early childhood one and there's a primary one. But for parents, I have a body safety and consent pack, which is the 7 books. But excuse me, I've got a cough. Oh, I think I'm safe. But also, it's not COVID, touch wood.
No, it's not.
I better have a bit of my tea. But also there's some lesson plans that are now, I'll have a drink. There's some lesson plans, and all my lesson plans at the moment are free during COVID. So if you go onto the website, you can get all 54 lesson plans. But you do need to actually use the books as well. So it's all there for teachers and parents, and it's primary school. You see, once we get to secondary school, it gets a little more complicated. It's more about sex education and consent and respect for relationships. But primary school up to about grade 4 can be body safety, and then you can bring in some sex ed as well. But I don't personally, some people put the two together, but I personally keep body safety separate to sex ed because it really has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with empowering children. They know their rights. They know about what's safe and unsafe touch. They know that about their private parts are private. They also know about private places and public places as well. So that's really important as well, that they know that if they do want to touch their bodies, which can be pleasurable, touch their private parts, that you do that in a private space, because private is just for you, whereas public is more for general. Everyone can be in that space, like the kitchen or the lounge room. So So
that's wonderful. So we have actually touched on the second question, which was how important is it for parents to talk about body safety with their children and using the right names for body parts. So we have touched on that. We have been through that. So we're going to move to question 3 that we had there, which is, how can talking about body safety prepare children if they are in a position where they could be sexually abused or have been sexually abused? How does this talking about body safety actually prepare them for that?
Okay, so The most important thing is that if a child is in a home where they could be getting groomed, or they're in a community, like sporting club, and there's something, they could be being groomed, they really do need someone that's going to believe them. So therefore, that responsibility comes back to parents and teachers to know what to do if they disclose, to know what to do, to look out for warning signs and grooming, as I said. So we really, as a community, we need to educate ourselves as well. So this kid is in this situation. So they're going to come, after having body safety education, they're going to feel pretty uncomfortable and they're going to need to have to talk to someone. So that someone on their safety network needs to know how to handle that. So that's all about disclosure, which is also in one of those books that I said. Now, I also think within a classroom, a teacher might know that one child has actually been sexually abused and could be having therapy or with a counsellor, etc. Yeah. But it's still important that they receive that information. So I think what I've said to other teachers is that you could take that child out of the class because it could be very triggering for them.
Yeah.
And you could do that, give them that information one-on-one and sort of not manipulate, but sort of massage it to fit that child and their circumstances, but still empowering them, still not, still saying that they're strong and, they have a rights over their bodies, and not trying to, no shame whatsoever. So you would really need to sort of use it in a way that it suits that child. Because if you do body safety with a child who has been sexually abused, it could trigger them for sure. So I think they still need the education is the main thing, but to do it on a one-on-one basis. Yeah. And if you suspect, which I have done in a class where I suspected there was abuse.
Yeah.
When I started to see, I was reading the book, Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept, and I was starting to see this child start to tear up. I had another teacher in the room with me, and I told her to take that child outside, away, and just say what's happening for you and what's, going on, and dealing with that afterwards. So, but I know in New South Wales, they have a kit for social workers and therapists, and they use some secrets when they feel that a child is on the brink of disclosing. Yeah. And then that particular book will help them disclose. Mind you, as you know, with Some Secrets, for a child who hasn't been sexually abused, it's just another story. They just feel really sorry for poor little Sir Alfred, that, and they hope everything is good for him. So it doesn't affect them at all. But for a child who's on the brink of disclosing, that is a very good book to help them across. Mm.
Yeah. I mean, so what you're really saying is that actually talking about body safety, when parents talked about body safety, you're actually arming them with good ammunition to protect them from an abuser, someone who could go there.
Just in case.
Yeah, and just in case, that's right.
Like a seatbelt.
Yeah, that's right. We hope that never ever happens, right? We pray that never happens.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that if they have unfortunately experienced sexual abuse or any other kind of abuse, then this gives a bit of a light on to say, hang on a sec, this actually isn't right. When my dad touched me on the bottom constantly, or when he puts me to bed and he touches my vagina, this actually isn't appropriate.
Right. Or and hopefully they'll disclose.
That's right. And hopefully they'll go, hang on a second, that doesn't feel right. So that's where it comes back to, for me, if I was told that these things are wrong, then I would have said to this guy, actually, what you're doing right now, or even I wouldn't even get to that place, kind of thing,
you may. I'm sorry to interrupt there, but you may not you, but some children will freeze. So that's a natural reaction.
I did freeze. You're right,
and that's okay. But the next and maybe you can't say stop to that big person, and that's okay. But you can tell someone you trust straight away.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
so you're arming them. Yeah. So you're arming them with what they need. you're protecting them. And so let me just ask you one other question before we get into Q&A. The last question that I had was, why is being in lockdown, being in isolation, a really good time for parents to teach their children about body safety?
Well, I think, they're doing a great job at home with their children. And, body safety doesn't always happen like, okay, today we're doing a lesson on body safety.
No,
it might come up. It'll come up in general conversation. So you might have read, like no means no. And then you might have done some work at school and something will come up. So you can start to talk about, well, that's, this is your private parts and things like that. So you're with your kids a lot in lockdown. So you can spend that time sort of incidentally talking about things and having these open conversations. Because if you have open conversations where nothing is off the table with your kids when they're little, then they're going to come to you a lot more when they're teenagers. Believe me, you're going to be out, and you can't show your fear of topics. You have to just go, oh, right, okay, yep. Like, let's talk about that. Why not? And just be not frightened yourself, and because they're really curious and they want to know things. So this is a good time to have these conversations. And then the other thing is, some kids, as we said, will be at home with the perpetrator, or they've gone to the perpetrator's place to stay for a while their mum's a nurse or something. So before they go, and look, they might be the loveliest family in the world that your kids are staying with for a week or something, or not. But if they have the body safety rules, at least they know when they go there that they know their skills and they know what to tell a trusted adult if something's not right. So now is a good time to spend that time with your kids and arm them. And look, it's something we should all be doing anytime, but now we've got the time. Let's do it.
Absolutely. And I like that, because we don't just, sit there, okay, we're going to talk about body safety today.
Not all.
But I mean, like, for instance, this bookmark, I've got it in all of my kids' books, they have it in all of the kids' books. And so when they're reading a book, they can also read this, and it gives them that opportunity to be able to be reminded of that. That's right. Yeah.
Just reinforces. And the other thing, Neil, one other thing is that when you teach your child body safety, it mightn't be them who are being abused. It might be their friend, because a lot of kids will tell their friend. So therefore, your child knows what to do if their friend, it's happening to them as well. So I think that's another point as well.
I agree. Well, we're going to jump into the Q&A. Just I want to remind people right now that if you would like to win a body safety and consent pack, 7 books and a bookmark, then make sure you like, you share, and you tag your friends that aren't there, and you'll go in the draw to win that, and Janine will send it out to you. So right now, if you would like to put down some questions in the comments or send us a message or whatever it is, you can. One of the comments that has been made, and I think this is a really good one, is there's a lot of mixed messages going on at the moment. And, we're saying, we want you to hug your grandparents, and we touched on this earlier, but we want you to hug your grandparents, but also we want to teach you about stranger danger. We want you to do this. And, I've been in situations where, I've been, with people that we've kind of just met, and their parents will say, "Go on, give Neil a hug." And because I know this sort of stuff, I'm like, hold on a second. They don't need to do it, right? So they don't need to hug me if they don't want to. And you as a parent should not force them to do that.
Never.
So we're teaching these mixed messages. So I love that comment from a parent on here that's actually said, like, why are we treating our children like a monkey?
Yeah. Why are we treating them? This is why I hope in my books, I just respect children. I get down to them and I talk to them and I listen to them, and they're very insightful, and they are little humans who are modeling themselves on us. So we need to treat them with respect. They're not just there for our purpose. They're their little selves. And so if they don't want to hug someone, that's okay. The other person has to get over it. like, oh, I'm insulted. Say, no, I have one daughter who is not, she's never been overly affectionate, but and that's okay. I'm terribly affectionate. I'm a hugger all around, but that's okay. I respect that. And we show love to each other in lots of different other ways. So, that's being a parent, isn't it? Respecting your kids' boundaries, respecting their voice. And that's what we want to give them, a voice. Because,
I was just let's pick that up for a second, because obviously the national child safety standards are coming in, and each state has standards and principles, etc. The national child safety principles. One of the major things that came out of the Royal Commission was the fact that children didn't have a voice. In fact, if they did speak up to someone in the organisation would either cover it and put it down. But then what happens is the reality is that children are, palmed off or silenced, and then it takes that 25 years. And Matt Baker said on here that this is a really good program. What you're talking about, these books, actually body safety is really good and aligns very well with the child safety standards or the national principles.
Yeah, it does.
And
there's a reason for that.
Well, why don't you tell us?
Well, I don't know if I should share this, but I think I will. Years ago, before James Merlino came into office, he was at our local sort of, in Victoria, he was at our local sort of farm day. And so I got hold of him for 40 minutes. And I said to him, you really need to do more to help protect our kids in this space. And he promised me he would. And then we met, so we had a little group together, our protective behaviours group, and we met him on 2 occasions about the standards, and he did implement them. So that was a real plus for the whole of Victoria, and I hope now it's going, Australia-wide has safety standards after the Royal Commission, because kids do have a voice, and we need to respect that. And, we've got to learn from the past, the very sad past. Yeah. And we, survivors say to me, they just, if there's one thing they want in life now, is that it never happens to another child again like it did to them. So that's what we're aiming for. That's why our educators, our parents do not need to be afraid of this topic, because what you're actually doing is you're actually giving, these kids a chance to have the life they should have.
That's exactly right.
And keep those perpetrators away.
That's right. And we're protecting, that's what we're trying to do, is we're protecting. At ChildSafe, we align our tools and services. We're working with schools and other organisations to align them with those the national principles, so that organisations can see an alignment there. Look, we have pretty much run out of time, but one thing we do need quickly. But yeah, no, that's right. Went really quickly. But one thing that we do need to say is that if any of our stories of abuse has affected you in any way, it's really important that you call Lifeline 13 11 14 and you have a conversation with someone there. If you're sitting there as a parent and your child has been sexually abused, or you think they might be, and you've had those conversations, be really important to get in touch with the police. But also, if a child is at risk, then they can be calling the kids helpline as well. And so there's a couple of places that you can actually call. And also 1-800-RESPECT is another one if you have actually been sexually abused yourself. Did you want to add any other one?
The CASA organisations. Yes. For me, it's Southeast CASA, but that's a Centre Against Sexual Assault. Those organisations are fantastic. The psychologists and the counsellors there are just wonderful. So that is a really great organisation as well.
Yeah, well, I've sat with them and I've spent some time with them, and I agree, they're fantastic, and they will listen and it will be heard, and that's super important. Janine, it's so good to have you along. We really appreciate your time. And thank you for your expertise and your passion in this area. It's so good to partner with you in this. And we wish you all the best in this year. And we hope that you sell bucket loads of books so that more and more children are protected. We know that one of your particular books is translated, or your poster is translated in 17 different languages, which is phenomenal.
And the other thing is, like, when we sell the books, like I think I told you this the other day, and I'll be quick, we have a giving back page. So when you buy books from us, it allows us to give back. So we've gifted one book, My Body, What I Say, Goes to World Vision India. They've translated it into 10 Indian languages and printed 1.5 million copies to give away to families. Wow. And they've also instructed 900 teachers to implement that program. So by buying, if you do buy books from us, then it allows us to give back to, and we're also working with the Philippines now, and there's another organization in South Africa and Bali. So yeah, there's a page, it says giving back, and it'll tell you. So
yeah, fantastic. And your website's E2E publishing.info, and you can get all there. And we've also got all the resources as well on our page as well. You can go to childsafe.org.au/live. Thank you so much, Janine.
Thank you.
We are so blessed to have you today. We thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this thing up, but we'll say goodbye to you. So please make sure you like and share and tag to win a consent and body pack. I want to say what a fantastic Facebook Live this has been. Thank you so much for joining us. We want you to know that every single month we run these, and the next one is actually on June the 24th. We have Melinda Tankard-Rice talking about why it's important to talk to your kids about pornography, and we touched on that at this Facebook Live. This is going to be an absolute wonderful one as well, and we're excited to have you again. As I said, go to childsafe.org.au/live and add yourself for the Facebook page, the parents' Facebook page that we've set up. And also, if you'd like to make a donation so we can keep doing this, that would be wonderful. Thanks again for joining us. Take care and have a wonderful day.